I want to walk you through how I've set up my toner mic. All right, so welcome to OBS Studio. I already have scenes set up, but you can ignore those at the moment. At this time, I'll be walking you through my audio settings as well as how I've set up my toner mic and some of the other things that are related. Just so you can see, I'm currently capturing this display on my computer, my second monitor. You get the kind of infinite screen here that makes you go cross-eyed. I'm going to disable that by right-clicking and clicking that option for the moment. So what I want to look at is here, this microphone. I'll look at some of the settings here in a moment. But the way that you would add this, and the way I add it the first time, is you click on the plus symbol, and you want to select an audio input capture. So you're trying to capture an audio input. In this case, it's a microphone that's plugged into my computer, but it could be something else. It could be the microphone coming out of your webcam or something else here. And give it a name. In this case, we're going to call it Tonor Mic 2. So it's not confusing with my regular Tonor mic. Click OK, and then I get a drop-down menu. So here's a whole list of different inputs that I could choose. Most of them are virtual, which I can talk about later. At this point, I'm looking for the Tonor TC30 audio device. So I'm going to click on that. I don't need device timestamps at this point. And then I'm going to click OK. And then you'll see down here that it will be added. You will also see, as soon as I click OK, right here in this other spot, I drag this up, under the audio mixer, and you can already see the Tonor Mic 2 is already shown up there. Click OK, and now we have 2 showing up. So that's how you would go about adding this. Now there are a couple of things to point out here. Here on the bottom right, there are a number of options. I currently am recording, and so if you wanted to test whether this is working at all, you could always click Start Recording, talk into your mic for a little bit, and then stop recording and listen to it. You should be able to see from the gauges here on the audio mixer whether you have sound coming out of it. The question really is whether it's being output anywhere, and the question is whether you can actually hear it or not. So if you click on any of these little gear icons and pull up Advanced Audio Properties, what you'll find here are a number of advanced properties. You'll see status, whether it's active or not. I don't really mess with the volume from this situation right here or the sync, although there certainly be instances where you'd mess with the sync. I'm looking at audio monitoring right now. So you can see if I look at desktop audio 2, which I'll explain later, I have it listed as both a monitor and output. The same thing with my Tonor mic. However, my Tonor mic 2 is listed as monitor off, and that means I'm not listening to it. But what I actually want to do is come over and click monitor only, mute output. So it's no longer actually outputting to a channel here. You can see I have a number of tracks. I'm actually going to come in here and remove these tracks because I don't want them outputting to any of those right at the moment. So to explain this drop-down box, monitor off means that there's an output. So if you were picking that up, recording, there would be audio on that recording, or someone would be hearing you if you're using the virtual camera, but you're not actually going to hear it in your monitor device. Monitor device is basically what you're listening to as on your own computer. Monitor only means you're only listening to it, but you're not actually outputting any sound to something, so there would be no recording. Monitor and output is both of them at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and close this back down, and I'm actually going to, well, I'll show you what else you can do here. So you see the little eye icons that will show you what's actually showing up at the moment. If you click on this eye icon, it will actually mute that source. So this could be a display, this could be something else. In fact, let's give something a try. If I enable the preview, you see what I'm previewing right now. If I click the mute icon for display, the display disappears. You still can hear me across the recording, but there's no display, and that's because I've muted that. If I click the icon again, the display shows back up. So you can see I have the Tonor mic muted. I use this a lot when I am teaching. When I'm sometimes playing around with functions in dead times in class or right before class starts, what I often do was just click this icon to mute my mic in OBS, and I know that way I'm not sending anything out that I don't want to while I can work on settings or get ready for class. So that's setting up the microphone. If you click on one of the sources, it will actually highlight it, so it'll show you where it is. So, for example, the visual ones will actually give you a red box, so you can see, so you can resize it if you want to. And the audio ones don't have a box, but you can see that you can select it. Now, let's talk about some of the settings that I use. I'll pull up properties right here. There's not a whole lot under properties that I use. Again, you could choose time steps. I don't really know a situation where you would use that. What probably is most useful here are the filters tab. So I have a number of filters that I'm using. Let me remove. So I have a number of filters that I am using. Here are the audio filters listed right here. And if you come down to the plus sign at the bottom, pretty much anywhere in OBS, if you want to add something, you click plus. If you want to subtract, remove something, you click the minus, or you can move them up and down. So click plus. There are a number of them that are in OBS by default. And so noise gate, I'm using a noise gate. Suppression, some of these other things are here by default. You absolutely could do that. I happen to be using this set of plugins, which I will show you here in a second. Let me pull up ReaPlugs. So this is Reaper.fm. They have a full set of software. I don't know everything that they do, but they have a free set called ReaPlugs that I came across through a YouTube channel. And I will look to see if I can link that down in the description. I think that came from, I saw that through Nutty, but I will have to look there. Anyway, this is a set of plugins. I have a 64-bit system, so I just downloaded it. It tells you how to set it up. Once you've done that, they should show up. And let's try something. So let's click on mic 2, click on filters, nothing shows up. So I'm going to call this noise gate and click OK. And I'm going to select a plugin, and you can see these ReaPlugins show up right here. So noise gate is called ReGate. It's right there. You can open the interface. This is a noise gate. I can't explain the full details from an audio perspective to you, but I can tell you more or less how to make this work. So right here is the actual gate. And so this setting, and if you look right down here, it's in decibels, basically tells the software to cut off anything that is below that. So let me see here. If I hit the keyboard, you can see it jumps up, right? So if I want to try to eliminate the keyboard noises, all right, so I'm hitting the space bar, but you could see it just barely came in underneath that. And so you could choose to use this gate to basically eliminate some of that background noise. Now, the downside to this, or the trade-off, is you want it to still pick up your voice. And there was a really great YouTube video that I will post a link to that. I believe it's through the Alpha Gaming channel that shows you how to create a loop of your own audio and plug it in as a source so that you could just hear yourself talking over and over again. And then you could play with this and you could hear it repeat over time. I thought it was a really great video. I used that to tune this in, and so I'll provide that. So that's noise gate, and it's designed to try to eliminate some of the background noise. So the other thing I have is a compressor. And the way I understand it is that compression works to kind of control the extremes of your voice. So in stock trading terms, this would be like using some sort of a rolling average to reduce the fluctuation in something. So here we go. Recomp is what we're looking for. Open the plugin interface. And it's the same thing. So my understanding is you give it a threshold, and unlike the noise gate, which cuts out something below a certain decibel level, this basically on anything above a certain decibel, it compresses it or reduces how much volume it has. So it's a way to kind of soften your super loud points, and it can actually enhance the super low points. I've not worked with some of these finer details here. I do know attack has to do with how quickly it goes into play. So if you give this a really long attack, it takes a really long time for it to start compression. If you give this 0 attack, then it kicks in automatically. By default, it's at 3. And again, one of the videos I'll link to seems to think that 3 is about right as it comes there. Then, and again, I don't know a whole lot about this, but you can actually then up your gain. So artificially up it, since you're compressing some of your loud instances, you can up that gain just a little bit. And then EQ. So ReQ is what you're looking for. And this is a way of adjusting how your voice sounds. So these are various frequencies. By default, it gives you 4 bands. You can add more bands at different frequencies if you wanted to. Looks like you can even adjust it. So if you want a couple other bands to really fine tune your, let's put 6, the way your voice sounds. And so you can increase or decrease kind of the way that your voice sounds in low, mids, and highs. In a minute, I'll pull up what I actually have, and you can take a look at that. Again, some of those recommendations come from 2 different videos, one on the Alpha Gaming channel and one on, I believe it's Nutty's channel as well, as I've tried to dial in the way that my voice sounds. It's by no means perfected, and again, you can adjust gain right here. So let me pull up what I have at the moment. I'm going to click on the toner mic that I'm using. Click on filters. So you can see I have noise gate, EQ, and compression right here. I'm going to open noise gate. You can see what I'm using. I'm using right at -29. And so right, I'm going to type quietly. See, I was typing quietly and you can't really see that. Now, if I really mash the space bar, so I mashed the space bar really hard there and you could hear that, but if I'm quiet, you can't. Mouse clicks. Those are all mouse clicks, and you can see it goes up, but you can't actually hear it. Whereas if I slam the mouse down, you can hear that. Again, there's attack and hold, which I haven't really looked into a whole lot, but then you can do some gain amplification if you want to. So this is where I have my noise gate set at. To be honest, mine actually was a little bit lower, and I am attempting to eliminate more of the typing noises. I don't think I'm where I want to be, and in fact, you still can hear some of my typing, particularly when I'm teaching classes. And so my plan is to do this by, I'm getting a boom arm for my mic, hopefully to bring it closer to my mouth and pick up less of the background noise. But this has worked out decently for me. EQ, here's the plugin, same one. You can see how I've adjusted my voice here. You could set it manually, or you can come in and play with it. I only have 4 right now. I would like to come in and play and with these and dial these in more. So you can see 1, here's 2, and the gain that I'm adding, 3. So you can see 1 is above the line, right? It's added 2.6. 2 is below the line, it's subtracted 2.3. 3 is above, it's added 2.6. And 4 is added 4.8. So you can kind of see what the frequencies are and how much has been added or subtracted there. And then compression, again, the goal is to have this threshold at the top only for your loudest moments. You can see I've got it at 5. That's the attack, which seems to be pretty good from what I've read. And this is the ratio. So the ratio is how much it actually compresses. So I believe, if I'm understanding it correctly, anything above this threshold, so when I get really loud like this, it basically compresses on a 3-to-1 ratio. So for every decibel above it, it basically becomes a third. That's my understanding of how that works. So those are my settings on my microphone to try to adjust the audio a little bit. Now let's look at the way that audio comes in. So I actually have it set up so I have multiple tracks that are being recorded. I'm going to go ahead and remove this here because I don't need that extra one.